Okay, good morning, guys. So today is our last topic on Kubernetes. So tomorrow we'll discuss on 2 or 3 projects, very high level, and we'll finish. As I said, already I told you, right? If you are lag in any tool, if you require some, I'm ready to explain one more time. 2 3 days, I don't have any problem. No, if you are good means I can close, no problem. So the concept is the very important concept, Ansible. Okay, what topics you need Ansible? Guys, not for one person. Decide group and decide the tool. Very difficult to explain one person, right? Even if you lag, see, even the one person also do, I don't have any problem. If you stuck somewhere, directly you can call me also. Weekends, I'm very free now. So the concept is R back. After that, I will complete the stateful. Yesterday, some topics are pending, right? How to access and all, we'll finish it. This is very important concept, but carefully we need to handle this concept. Otherwise, may your cluster access may gone. Yeah, my access already gone. That's what. So role based access control. Full. What happened? You missed the classes, Harshal? Tell me genuinely. Did you attend or not for Ansible classes? If you're asking full means definitely you miss classes. I can easily understand. If you say honestly, I can give one offer to you. Okay, anyway, that offer we can discuss. Huh? Role based access control, guys. The role based access control is nothing but here. So this is your cluster, right? This is your cluster. Maybe it is running inside one VPC. So what I can understand. Okay, better. This is cluster. This cluster created from one EC2 instance. Is that clear? So if you observe or not, yeah, just for revision, you have to do that. If you have any confusions, any topic, I will take it. Just for revision, you have to do that. Sir, can you discuss TV? Okay, I will discuss TV also. Advanced means what? Advanced means what? Tell me. You already learned advanced things only. Okay. Okay, this is your cluster, right? Now cluster, okay, we'll discuss later, guys. Cluster is running. Cluster is running means okay, you cluster created from this EC2 instance, right? So this is your admin access. I mean, once you create EC2 instance, if you get any role or you created cluster from admin access. Okay. So once you create a cluster, there is a one file will update inside your EC2 instance. What is that file? Config file. Config file inside dot authorization dot auth inside the config file will be created. In the configuration file, your details will update role ARN. If you observe or not. Okay, so that you can access your cluster. Otherwise, you are unable to access. Try for different server. It will not work. Okay. Now, okay, this is fine. If you are a admin, if you are an admin, you can access everything, right? If you're admin, you can access anything, right? So now, if you're admin, you can access everything. But now I want to give this cluster access to someone. How to give? If I want to give this my admin credentials to them, they will maybe delete pod, create pod. Your cluster is not a single task, right? Maybe if they're not handled in correct way, definitely something data may loss in the cluster. So in that case, I can give this cluster access to some user. So we can give this cluster access to some user. Okay, we can give this cluster access to user. So this user, okay, this user connect the cluster, start the actions. But we need to understand here, this user, you can decide permissions we should give to the user. Permissions we should give to the users. Permissions means not IAM permissions here. The reason, if you give cluster access, they can, so kubectl get pods only work. The user is only for kubectl get pods, not for nodes. IAM policy is there for that. IAM is work for service level, not for inside the technical things, right? So Jenkins is there, for example. Jenkins only one job has to access. Is that IAM policy will work? No. Same thing, customized actions. Inside the cluster, customized actions, we can use RBAC. Don't confuse permissions, roles, and means don't confuse with IAM. IAM will work cluster level. If you can use the cluster access, everyone can handle the cluster. But inside, user can handle only pods, user can handle only nodes, user can work with only specific pod. Like that, we can do so many things. So we can give this cluster access to users, and permissions we should give to that users. The permissions means get pods, get nodes, okay, get configs, like that. Delete pod access. If you can give, he can delete pods. The list of actions, if you can give, user can perform. So if you want to share the cluster access to user, that user can perform whatever permissions you have given to that guy. Is that clear? If you give if you give this cluster to some user, if you not restrict the permissions, may he can delete a cluster by mistakenly. If delete cluster means entire project gone. Cluster deletion is not a single job, right? Yeah. It's not a single time environment. Everything will gone. So carefully we need to handle. Okay. So in this case, no, it is not like that. If you create IAM role, the role you can create permission, right? That permission may be cluster permission. If you can give cluster permission, you can do anything inside. Not for restrict only pods. So IAM, it is not helpful for here. The reason I'm talking about cluster inside activities, IAM will help service level. But this is not IAM. I'm talking about inside cluster activities. For example, AKS, GKE, same process. Creation of AKS, the command is different. Creation of GKE, command is different. Creation, once you enter into the cluster, all commands are same. kubectl get pods. In that, is there any AWS word is there? kubectl AWS get pods means definitely Azure different command will be there. kubectl get pods always same everywhere. So in that case, in your update, you can update in your resumes EKS, AKS, GKE. No problem. For that, just spend one day for just a high level how to install. If you have account for AKS, GKE, just I'm saying that. So kubectl get pods. So I'm able to get the pods, right? Now kubectl get nodes. I'm able to see the nodes, right? But I can give my user access to only see the pods, not nodes. In this case, IAM policy will not work, right? This is internal actions. IAM is for EKS level will work, not for internal actions. Yeah. Is that clear? Okay. So in this case, there is a concept RBAC. In this case, we have to create a first role, not IAM role, Kubernetes role. And we have to bind that role on the user or group. And you can do some edit, do some modifications in your auth file, authorization file. That's it. Okay. So first, what I need to do, create IAM user to give the access to that guy, right? Create IAM user, give the cluster access first. If you give the cluster access, this is very important entry question. If they want to ask very advanced level. So my cluster is running. I want to give my cluster access to my friend, my colleague. So my role is ready. I have created IAM role or I have created IAM user. I have given EKS full access. Understand? EKS full access. That person can access everything or not. They can ask the question. 100% no. The reason EKS creation access will come. But inside actions, whoever give the admin can give the privileges inside the cluster. For that, the user detail should update into auth config file. Then only they can handle the, see for example, ls, where it will be update, dot cube. There is a config file right here. If you observe here, my user details is updated here while creating time. That's what I'm able to access. If you create one more user, that user details is not updated here. In that case, that person is unable to access EKS cluster even though full permissions. Okay, so like that they can ask the question. So I need to update the auth config file, their update details. Or you can say I can create a role, Kubernetes role. I can give the access for that role. I can update with that role into my auth config file so that they can access. I will show you here now. Okay. So yeah, where is our back? Control F. Hmm. Yeah. So this is our back process. So first we need to create a, I'll write the steps here. The step one, need to create IAM user with cluster permission. Okay. If you give cluster permission means in that case, it will not by default, it will not get root privileges for inside the cluster. We have to define. But if you create a cluster from your mission, from your server, at that time, by default, cluster will take your user details. You'll update into config file. No need to update in that case. Since you have created a server means cluster can understand you are admin. Who can create this cluster? By default, that person is admin for the cluster. Is that clear? No need to update anything. It will update automatically. If you create the cluster by role or user, it can take automatically. But now I'm creating a special user to give the cluster access to that guy. Okay. So need to create IAM user with cluster permissions, EKS cluster permissions. Is that clear? So guys, now I need to configure this user into my laptop. I mean, my server by AWS configure. So if you give AWS configure, what will happen? It is going to store your access key secret key into your device. If it is server means server, but you need to understand if I create one more AWS configure, existing one is going to overwrite, right? Always, if you generate SSH keygen also, the existing one already override, right? So to overcome that, you can create multiple configurations, AWS configuration, no problem. We have to define here profile. If you give profile, give the username, it will not override our existing one. Existing one, the name is default. Now, if you can create profile IAM user, so it will create the name of IAM user, one more credentials, it will going to add into your .aws. Like that, multiple users you can create, multiple AWS configures you can run without disturb existing configurations. If you not define here profile hyphen profile, definitely the request will go to directly default one. Now default one, there is no disturbance here. I have given wantedly hyphen profile IAM user. I mean on this name, one more configurations are going to store into your .aws. Is that clear? Yeah. So yeah, after that, configure step 2. So here we need to pass access key secret key, right? Step 3, we have to create a Kubernetes role. Step 4, we have to bind on that role. Step 5, we need to add this config file map, this role details and all. Okay, perfect. Let's start now. First, I'm going to create a IAM user. I'm going to create IAM user. So I'm just giving the name is role. The name is role. A rollback. Better R back. Okay. Role name is also R back. So DevOps. I don't know DevOps also there. Huh? Okay. Name is DevOps. So I should give EKS permission directly. Otherwise, you can give admin access also, no problem. Okay. So EKS permission. So different EKS cluster policy, service role policy, EKS service policy, whatever their node related policy, controller, forget is not required, service role policy. Related EKS, I have given the access. So now I just create a user. Okay, my user is what? DevOps. Click on here. What I need to do? Generate access key secret key to configure inside my EC2 instance. Only that user is able to access EKS cluster first. But inside activities, we have to configure some internal configurations for permissions of the internal activities. Okay. So now if you can see, so where should I generate the keys? Secret credentials, access key secret key, CLI. These steps you know, right? I'm just, yeah. Next, give some testing, whatever it is, the description tag value. So this is my access key. This is my secret key. So let's go and change it here. This is my access key. And let's go to secret key. And this is my secret key. Is that clear now? So I need, if you want to configure access key secret key, what you need to do inside your server, give AWS configure. If it is inside your laptop, give AWS configure, right? The user data stored. If, for example, now I'm giving AWS configure here. Sorry. Yeah. This is my, I have launched cluster from here only. So here I have launched cluster from here only means I can easily handle my cluster access. I'm the admin at the time. Now I want to configure user details also here. User also can perform, right? What is the command AWS configure? If I give my existing user detail, if any user details are there in my existing, it is going to delete, overwrite. So to avoid that, hyphen profile, give your DevOps, give any name, no problem here. So it will ask new access key, secret key. Existing will not overwrite. That one also will work. So this is my access key now. So AP South one, my cluster is there in AP South one. So JSON. Your user details configure into your server. Now user can create cluster, delete cluster. From if EKCTL create cluster, they can perform, right? But inside, if they log in, so they are unable to perform inside activities. Inside activities. So now, so the creation of cluster, maybe different permission is there. That permission we should disable here. Otherwise, they can create or delete, right? We can give only service role permission is there for EKS, right? If you can give that, the service role will not create cluster. Just they can enter into the cluster. Different permissions are there. Yeah. Okay. But how to update your EKS? There is a command, right? AWS EKS update you cluster name. If you give, see here. This command. We have to update it, right? After creation of cluster, if you are unable to get the nodes, we have to run just give config command. By default, it will come. If it will not, you have to update this command. After this only, dot cube will create inside the server. If you are unable to get the nodes and pods. Anyway. Okay. So the first process now, we can start from role. We have to create not IAM role, Kubernetes role. This is internal activities. So after configure that, we have to create Kubernetes role. The role of the Kubernetes is this one. Kind is role. Metadata is namespace default. Name of the role is developer role. Under rules, I have given API groups. So this is common every time you have to use API group, API group, API group. Resources, I'm giving config map where, variables get list. Next resources pod get list. Next resources deployment get list. If you want require nodes, write one more API group, put into the nodes, resources, give the nodes, verbs, get list. I mean, each API group indicates the some operations. So here, is there any nodes? In my permission only pods, right? For example, if I create this role, if I bind on the user, my user can see only pods, not nodes. Why? Here there is no rules. In under the rules, there is no nodes permission. Is that clear? Okay. So first I need to create this role. Role indicates we are creating some role. This role we can attach to user. This is the meaning. Same like IAM, okay? But in that role, we should give some permissions, right? IAM role, you have to give some permission. Same here also. I'm creating role along with the permissions. Here permissions means rules. What are the rules you are giving to that role? Get pods, list pods, get config maps, list config maps, but there is no get nodes. Understand? So understand the scenario. How I can give permissions, you can go for document also, we can see what are the permissions are there in that we can, but the process is important. So ls So I'm going to create RBAC. Sorry, MKDIR, right? LSCD RBAC. Okay, I'm here. So first I'm going to create a role.yml. I am not role. This is Kubernetes role. Paste. My role name is what? Developer role. You can give any name, no problem. These are the actions. Okay. How to apply the role? Created role. kubectl get role. My role name is developer role. That's what. Okay. Creation of role only done now. Now, role binding to map roles and groups. So we have to create a role binding. In this role binding, we have to give our role and add into this group. So by default, this group will create the reason. For example, later, if you want to add one more role, one more role, no need to create again different, no need to add every time. So we can add here the role permit, next role, third role, fourth role. No need to create role binding every time. Understand? Role binding is a one-time job to map the roles and groups. So whenever you can create a role, by default group also we should create. The reason, next time onwards, if you want to create one more role, the role automatically add into the groups. Okay. For example, my role is developer role, right? If you want to create one more role, next time if one more role is required, you can just add here role reference, kind role, name, different name, API group, you should add. Creation of role binding is only one-time job. So my role is where here? This one. My role is binding. VI role bind dot ML. So kubectl, don't forget to apply. It will not work if you forget. So there is an error. Let's go there. Oh, missed. Okay. Let's go there. Where? Okay, dot I1. Let's copy paste. Oh. These samples are very careful, guys. Okay. Just give up arrow. Okay. kubectl get role binding. So this is the role binding I have created for role developer role. I have created a role binding. If you require one more role, you can add here, or we can create different role binding also, no problem. Yeah. LS. So now the final one, role created, role binding created, right? We have to add the user ARN into your auth config file. The ARN, the user already attached. See, let's go there. Better. Edit the command and below user details. So kubectl edit CM means config map AWS auth-n kube system. This is the file location area, auth config file. So here we need to add map users. This user ARN is your IAM user ARN. Username is your IAM user. See which group is developer group. Role is binding and developer group, right? So here my role is binding on developer group. So here everything will work like a group system is. So if the developer role add this group only, it will work. How I can add? By using role binding concept. Okay. So here, if you can see here, my group name is developer, right? So here only group name is there. There is no again role name. The role name already bind on the group so that if I give group here, it will work. So I should go this path now. So very careful here, very, very careful here. So this is what my IAM role, my EC2 instance, I have attached IAM role, right? So this is applied role here and for your main admin permissions. Now I'm going to add here before username, I need to add here my username so that config file update means they can access cluster now. So now insert, very, very careful guys here. If you do something mistake here, everything will go on. So before that, let me copy paste this one. So this is the one we need to add. Here ARN means your ARN. Let me copy your ARN first. Go to users. This is the DevOps user, right? So take this ARN, user ARN. DevOps. Okay. So now just copy this one and go here, paste it here. Under map, it should come. Okay. Let's back one step and check here. Second better. So you should be in the same. Yeah. So if you have one more user, you can add after map user, one more user. Here it will come. After developers, one more user like that. Edited. Okay. So I have added my user details into auth config file so that they can perform the inside activities, whatever permissions I have given. For that, guys, what you need to do, the last step is see here. Yeah. So this is for example below reference. After edit the file looks like same. Here only I have added, right? Just for your reference, the after VI, the file is looks like same. So after that, you need to add your user details here. So my user details are here, right? Control C, just for your reference, I have added here. This is my user details like this. Now, after I edit this file, it looks like same. Okay. For example, below reference, after I edit the config map file. So after edit the file, run below command to update cluster for created user. See, if you run the AWS EKS update kube config hyphen name without any hyphen profile, default action. Okay. Now, if I give EKS update kube config hyphen name, the cluster name is Naresh hyphen profile, your IAM user means it will update with your user. The reason same system I'm doing, right? If I give the user details to someone, they can perform in their laptop, they can update this command directly. No need to update this command, right? In their end. But same system I'm doing practice means I'm updating user details, I'm updating default details. Default means me, user means user details. Okay. So my IAM user is name is what here? DevOps. Yeah, no need to go for in config map. Only one role. That's what I'm saying. Just existing role, we have add the role only directly. I mean, role binding group. You can add the existing one. No need to create. So now just go here. So this is default one. Already my end is default one is right there, right? So no need to run the default one. This is my default one. I'm going to update DevOps user details to run the cluster. In this case, my cluster name is what? Let's go and check my cluster name. I think test. Okay. Yeah. Copy. So if you can see here, just a minute. Okay. So if I run this, what I'm saying here, this cluster update with user. Now this user details will add into your local config file. So this user can access cluster, whatever permissions I have given. If you're not given, if you not give -- profile by default, it will take my IAM role only. But I'm mentioning here, no, it will update with your IAM profile. Okay, if I give like this, so now update contest, your update dot kube config with these details. So only kube config after update only you can access role binding inside config file, auth config file. This is primary here to access the cluster. So now kubectl get pods. I'm able to get the kubectl get pods, right? Now you can give kubectl get nodes, see no permission. Cannot list the nodes. In API group, remember or not, in API group, in my API group under rules, yeah. So in this, sorry, here in the API group, I have given only pods and apps and config map. If you give roles, nodes also one more block here, you can able to see the nodes also. Understand? This is role binding concept. Very important concept. In interviews, they will definitely ask this question. If they want to ask little difficult questions, they will come this area. The Kubernetes questions mostly you will get, guys. One question mandatory. It will come on architecture. Very sure. Even 10 years experience guys also, they will get one entry question on architecture. And next they will go for schedulers. If they want to disturb you, I have applied taint kind of questions. So the options are more to ask. I mean, like, the concept based questions. There is a more options to ask those questions in schedulers. What is daemon set? What is replica set? Like this. And very important, how to roll back, how to upgrade your cluster, I mean, your application by using blue green deployment canary we have, right? That one they can ask. And the most important thing is worker node concept they will ask. How, for example, node may deleted the existing pods, it will delete or it will move to different node. Like that, they will ask this type of questions. No one can ask the question directly, what is microservice, what is EKS? Like these questions never nowadays. Okay. So be prepare my all. How many days we spend? 14 days? More than 14 days. So these days are very important, especially for Kubernetes. Yeah, most questions are come from K8s only. Yes, that's what. Definitely, guys, if there is any DevOps interview, I mean, no need to go in depth Kubernetes. For your case, I'm saying that. For your case, these 14 classes are 14 or 15, 16, I don't know. These classes are fine for you can apply 5 years experience still. So these classes are enough for 5 years, 4 years experience guy. If you go more than 6, 7, 8, definitely they will go in depth, right? So they will ask you to show me your some examples like that they can ask. 3, 4 years means, so definitely you can say I have a 4 years of IT experience means there is no rule to 4 years you work in Kubernetes, right? Understand my question here? Relevant means what relevant? DevOps only relevant. Again, relevant. Jenkins relevant. Ansible relevant. There is no any concepts in the IT again. Understand here. Relevant means DevOps relevant. Again, inside relevant. Kubernetes relevant. RBAC relevant. No. If they ask difficult questions on Kubernetes, simply you need to manage at that time. Yes, I have a 4+ years experience, but I have never get chance to till now to more explore on Kubernetes. Since I work the projects, my even in that projects. So I mean, if you can say any company, for example, in that company there is no much exposure in that Kubernetes. You can say that like simply, oh, no, I don't know this question. Don't say like that, okay? You need to be proactive at the time. So if they ask simple questions, for example, you can show more stuff in that. You can say I've worked on these concepts only. That's what I can say everything. But if you give opportunity Kubernetes, since I have a good knowledge on read these contents, HPA, scheduler, RBAC. I work all those things. If you say like that, they can easily understand. Okay, so many concepts he's saying in the Kubernetes, definitely they know concepts. Okay. So if ask anyone, this 24 ask anyone to say Kubernetes concepts, modules, 10, no one can say. They can say worker node, scheduler, that they can stop immediately. If you read services, ingress, HPA, node HA, RBAC, rolling updates, namespace, volume, stateful set, config map secrets, monitoring, Argo CD, Helm charts, whatever. If you can read like that, everyone can understand. This guy knows so many concepts. Understand? Modules are very important. Same thing. Terraform. Definitely interview questions will come on the Terraform. Terraform, Kubernetes. Off of the interview, you will get questions Terraform, Kubernetes, AWS only. Off of the interview. And next they will ask Git conflicts. If they are same thing, if they want to ask difficult questions in Git, definitely they will take you into that Git conflicts. First of all, what is Git conflict? How you can rectify in your the reason Git conflicts are very important. Every day we are doing Git activities only. So definitely they will ask the question. But don't expect any questions on or Maven. If they ask, they will ask only one question. That's it only. They don't go in depth Maven. What is Maven? So the reason our our scope is very less Maven and Sonar. Sonar will give the result. The result we cannot understand. We should again send to developer only, right? Our scope is very less to say, ask the questions first of all. If they want to ask the questions on Maven, they will ask what? What is goals? What is clean? What is valid? That's it only. Again, they will ask Jenkins how to give access to specific job access to user. They will ask kind of questions. What is very important concept in Jenkins, master and node slave concept. How master can communicate node. How many methods we have? Two, right? One is controller method, one is through SSH. These questions are very important. Usually you will get easy questions, but I'm showing you hard phase here. The reason at that time you will get more confidence. Already we have seen the hard phase, definitely interview may be easy. If you can see easy phases, definitely interview may be difficult. That 2 days you won't sleep. Okay. Enough concepts, guys. No need to go any other concepts. Enough concept. My friend already give teaching on Durgasoft. As I said yesterday, right? His name some Shiva, having 3 years experience. He came all rejected here, right? Our beautiful mentors asking different questions anyway. That's what he rejected. The questions, I don't know why they are asking that type of questions. Silly questions. He said, what they're asking questions, I'm not understanding still. Anyway, the silly question they're asking, so they have given different feedback. Okay, I'm not involving anything in that, just for give the reference only. I'm not going to support anyone at this time. Anyway, he is selected immediately. Durga's out. He is giving only Docker Kubernetes concept only, not for any other. DevOps means he give only teaching Docker and Kubernetes. That's it. He will not give any teaching on Jenkins and all, only Docker Kubernetes. This content, me and that guy discuss closely, prepare this content. He is giving the same concept. I'm added the same concept in DevOps. Okay, no need to discuss these many concepts. The reason these concepts are very important nowadays to survey. DevOps engineers means we have to show our stuff more in this area. If you show more stuff in Maven, no, your exposure are very less in the Maven. SonarQube, what you can say? Just the configuration only, right? But here, no developer can come in this area. They don't know. Definitely networks are very important to understand these concepts. Terraform also they don't know. AWS concept they don't know. So where there lack, you need to show more stuff. Otherwise, developers replace your place. Understand? Is that clear, everyone? These 4 months? Okay. So yesterday I have shared entire material. I don't know you, Shika, or not that. Yeah. Okay. So yeah. Okay. How much experience I think you have updated in your resumes? In your resumes, 7 years. Definitely they will expect, right? That's what I'm saying. Till 4 years, no one can ask there. If you go for 7 years, definitely they will ask programming language. This is for not only you. Developers also go for any interview, they will ask, Kubernetes. Definitely. Nowadays, there see now at least you learn AWS plus DevOps. Definitely you will get. Now see, no nowadays, guys, very difficult to get job only AWS. That's what completely stop training on AWS. No use. Only AWS, difficult to get a job. I'm not saying there is no job. Yes, jobs are there, but difficult to get a job. At least you should have a knowledge on one cloud and DevOps. That is very good platform. Next, programming language also mandatory, but not this time. After 4 years, for me required, for you not required. Okay, so that's what Nagarjuna, you have updated 7 years means more than lead position. Definitely they can expect from you programming language. This is very clear. This is apply for developers also. 7 years, whoever having 7+ years of work experience for the developers, they should know Terraform, they should know Kubernetes. Sir, I'm the developer. No, it's not possible. There is no any exemptions. They should learn. Testers also. After 5+ years experience, if you apply tester job, definitely they should know Java, Java Selenium. I don't know Java scripting, but I can test means how you can test it. Definitely they should know. See, if you cross certain level, you should know so many things in IT. Even though if you work 3 years on DevOps now, definitely can easily understand what is DevOps, how it will work. Definitely you just focus on other things, any programming language. If you have any programming knowledge after 3 years, I'm saying not at this time. First, your focus is on always DevOps plus AWS. The reason this is your primary skill. Okay, primary skill is DevOps, secondary skill is cloud, third skill, if you want to update third skill, you can update programming language, but not at this time. Okay, the roles are different. DevOps role different, programming developer role different. You don't go the developer role, right? For 4 years, if there is any project, 6 to 7 people will work. If +7+ years work experience guy apply any position, definitely they will promote like a lead directly for the project. Lead means what? They need to take care entire team, right? They need to take care developers, they need to take care DevOps, they need to take care cloud and testers and everything. In that case, definitely they can expect from you all skills. If you are apply 4 years, you should work part of your project, not as a lead. In this case, you can give your inputs only, not for developer. Same thing, developer also apply 7+ years of work experience. That role by default lead only. Lead means they should know DevOps activities also. This is the logic only. Yeah. So till 4 years, I don't know even single language. I don't know how to write code also. Till 4 years. After 5 years only, I learn Python. I'm also not saying now I'm not mastering Python. I can understand. With help of ChatGPT, I can do anything in the Python role. That's it. Is that clear, everyone? The next concept, yeah. So RBAC is clear now. So you can do some activities in RBAC, give the permissions, but very careful while updating the edit. May so if you do any mistakes, your main permission may gone. Main permission may gone means if you want to edit a config file, first of all, you don't have permission. Main access gone means you are unable to open the config file, first of all, to do some modifications. Understand? So kubectl edit cm, this one, if you want to edit this one, first you should have a access, right? You are editing this by using main access. Now user cannot edit this one. Why? Still I'm in user, not in main, right? How to switch to main? Update, case update is there, na? Remove this profile. Now again it switch to root now. Now give edit command. It will work. Understand? Main access gone means this one also will work. It will not work. That's what I'm saying. Now I can see kubectl get nodes. I can see nodes. I'm the user. I mean master. Can we manage like, see, once again, I'm saying, Nagarjuna, you can manage anything. You have 7 years of work experience, right? You can manage anything, but definitely if any company is looking, if you apply to any company, definitely they will hire you like a lead only, not for like a developers, DevOps engineer. The reason you have a 7 years experience, they will take you as a lead only, since you have a 4 years Java, 3 years DevOps. Understand? Yeah. Now you will be fit for any role. If you show 4 years DevOps, 4 years coding, means you will be fit for any role, right? Developer role you can do, DevOps role you can do, lead role you can do. In that case, definitely they can hire you like a lead only. The reason they can use like developers, DevOps, testers. So be careful. Huh? Yeah. Okay. He's having 7 years experience. Huh? Is that clear now? Okay. So let's jump to stateful set connection. So few things I didn't discuss, but updated image pull policy. What is image pull policy? If you can see, you can easily understand these things. Okay. And resources, CPU, how much CPU, how much CPU has to take. Everything is updated here. Just you can go through, you can easily understand. Okay. Headless service. What is headless service, guys? There is no head. Okay. Headless service means there is no head. So in this case, how we can communicate? How we can communicate? So as I said, this is DB. I mean, inside 3 pods are running. DB means DB pods, just for your understanding, are only 2 pods. Okay. Here, stateless layer, stateless, any application here. Yesterday, I shared one document. If you can see, you can will get better clarity. So this is stateless application. So here in between friend service is there, right? To redirect. So this is stateless. So the request, the service, it will redirect here or here. Any problem? No problem. This is stateless. There is no data stored in any pod. So any pod, if you can go by using service, no problem here. But DB pod, definitely DB pod. Okay. The DB pod, the definitely, if you use service, it may go like same here or here. If it is a cluster IP or whatever, same load balancer, it has to do like a load balancer. But definitely it is not the case, right? So for example, this is MySQL 0. The request go to only MySQL 0. If it is a MySQL 1, the request has to go only MySQL 1. Here naming is very important. Pod name is very important. So the reason I will show you now. So write operations always go for MySQL 1. Sorry, MySQL 0. Read operations, it will go no problem here. But MySQL 1, definitely only read operations, not write operations. In that case, if you use the service as a cluster IP, internal communication, we are using cluster IP. External communication, we can use the same service, but different node port. So anyway, finally, service will offer 3 categories: node port, load balancer, cluster IP. But the 3 actions will work like a load balancer strategy only. Send traffic any one of the pod. But my case is like RDS, as we discussed, the request will go write operations for first pod, read operations for second pod. We have to define. But how service can understand? This is write operation I have to send here. This is read operation I have to send here. This is not possible. That's what we are not using. Cluster IP none. Cluster IP none. So cluster IP none means It will not create cluster IP. Okay. But service will create. What type of service is? No cluster IP, no node port, no load balancer, just service. That's it only. That service is called headless service. Why headless service? If you ask this question, 50% DevOps engineer will filter. If if I go for take interview, 10 members open drive. What is headless service? First question, 50 I can filter directly. 25% they can say something, stories. Headless is redirecting, headless is redirecting. Again, I will ask how headless service will link the pod. 30% will filter there. Next 20. They will also say something. But finally, only 5% people can understand only headless service. This is true in the market. Still, you can go through in the Google documents. One person can say different story, one person can say different story. But all are false statements. Seriously. Okay. Now, headless service, write operation should go like this, read operation should allow this. This service is called headless service. Headless service, how to create headless service process? Just cluster IP none. If you put like this in the service, it will create headless service. Okay. No need to ask anything. Just ask our mentors what is headless service. Or three of third four is there, na? Ask. Okay. Yes, please don't take me Docker. Huh? Just let me complete. We are on the flow here. Huh? Okay. Okay. So definitely, if I use headless service, how to call the pod? That is very important. Okay. So what I can do here, let me go through the document, what I prepared here. Yeah. This is the headless service. I have updated everything here. Just go for conclusion. So what I'm going to do here, I'm going to run two images, two pods to test this. The first pod is some busy box image. So we have a busy box image also in the Docker. So different distributions. Okay. And one is Nginx Alpine. The reason why I'm taking these two images, the first reason is if you take in Ubuntu, there is no NS lookup in that. We need to install NS lookup. If I take here also, curl command will not work. So I'm going to test by using NS lookup. I'm going to test by using curl inside from the pod. So inside from the pod means first that pod should work curl command, right? So what I need to do, if I install Ubuntu, I should install curl, I should install NS lookup and all. But by default, these two images we are getting curl and NS lookup. That's what I'm taking this image. There is no any concept related for this. Don't confuse. These steps, there is no concept related to headless service. Just to test our headless service, I'm taking two images. So if you run these two, you will get two pods inside. So I have already ran. So these two pods. One is for DNS test, one is for DNS validate. How to log in? kubectl exec-d pod name and stash bin bash, you can log in into the pod. From the pod, you can run the curl command. From the pod, you can run the ns lookup. Ns lookup command will work to get the DNS details of the pods. Curl command will get the response from the pod. My targets are what? My targets are the target and we have a targets. Okay. Okay. Let's go to CD headless. Okay, let me delete first. Existing on kubectl get deploy. Okay, VA Nginx, Nginx. Okay, let's come out from here. VA Nginx sfs.yaml. Okay. So the pod name is what here? Nginx headless. So I'm going to create one pod. Okay. I'm going to create one pod. That pod I'm enabling service. First is what? Cluster IP none. I'm creating two services, headless and normal service also. If you go through service, what would be the result? If you go through the headless, what would be the result? To identify only. Okay. So next service is what? Same pod. I'm linked with, see, we can link multiple services. How we can link based on the labels only, right? So I just created one more service. This time I'm using Nginx normal server. So I'm not defining any cluster IP. So which service will create? Cluster IP default action. If you not define anything, cluster IP will create by default. So one is normal service, cluster IP. One is headless service, cluster IP none. And I'm creating one image by using stateful set. Whatever it is image, I'm creating one image. So in this image, I'm running some, you can run like echo command also in the inside the pod, what it will be create like user data. So I'll just run here kubectl apply -f. Okay. Kubectl get pods. My pod name is what here? Web. Okay. Web 0, web 1 is running anyway before I ran. So just your concentrate always web 0, web 1. These are running through stateful set. So inside how many services will be created? Two services. One is for Nginx headless. One is for Nginx normal. Is that clear? Yeah. So now I'm going to I will open one more tab here for duplicate page. Yeah, you can connect here. Okay. So sudo su hyphen. So kubectl get pods. So now kubectl exec -it. Okay. So to log in, give here what? Name of the pod, right? I'm just logging DNS test here. Test the curl. This pod also running, right? I'm trying from one pod to other pod. This is not stateful, right? This is deployment. So deployment, how, stateless application, right? Stateless application, how to communicate with the stateful application through service, without service. This is the concept, okay? Bin bash, SHR, whatever. So my inside of the pod, right? My all pods running same namespace, default namespace. Is that clear? So this pod, so you can understand, this is the pod DNS test. Just understand whatever ran now, just DNS test. So this pod will communicate this pod through service only. Front end, back end, whatever. The front end pod will communicate to back end pod through service. Why we are not enabling node IP load balancer here? This is internal communication. But external communication front end we can give. Node port or load balancer. Front end pod. Front end pod will communicate with the back end pod with the help of service. Which service? Cluster IP only, internal service if it is a stateless. If it is a stateful, we have a challenges. Cluster IP work like a load balancer. So here it will work like a load balancer, no problem. This is stateless application, no data will be stored. But back end to DB, there is a problem. Why? If you compare with our architecture AWS, we use EC2 instance and auto scaling group load balancer. We use EC2 instance auto scaling group load balancer, but not database. Understand? We already discussed. We should not host our DB into auto scaling group and load balancer. The reason the system can confuse which is master, which is read replica. Same concept, right? Here in place of load balancer, cluster IP will be there. Cluster IP type load balancer also there. Cluster IP node port also there. What so many things are there. Even cluster IP also internal communication we can use, but that also will work like a load balancer concept, right? So are you sure if my front end is communicated to this service, are you sure this service will send the traffic to this pod only? We don't know. This is internal action. May it will go here or here. But this concept not apply for database. Definitely it should go write operation. It should go master 0 only, not for 1, 2. Is that clear now? So in this case, cluster IP definitely that it should be redirecting to 1 for read, 0 for master. But cluster IP action is work like a load balancer. In that case, definitely we shouldn't use the cluster IP concept here. That's what cluster IP none. That is called headless service. Is that clear now? Okay. So now from here, I'm going to try to ping service. Which service? I have already created 2 type of services per pod, right? So my pod communicate through service only, right? So for example, this is now what? Web 0. Clear or not? My pod is running, right? Stateful set. Web 0, Web 1. Now, my before stateless application should redirect your request to DB finally. If customers inserted their request, given the login details, that application is redirecting your login details into DB finally. Now this application redirecting request through service. Through service means service may send traffic web 0 or web 1. Sorry, this is web 1. Understand? But definitely there is no confusion. This service should send traffic to write operations web 0, read operations web 1. In that case, if you can use the service, definitely it will work like a load balancer concept also. I mean, send traffic at any one of the pod. If the pod will call the service, this pod is expecting only write operations. Someone is adding their details. Definitely this pod expecting write operations. But unfortunately, the service cannot understand write operations, read operations. It will read at any one of the pod. In that case, problem will come like a RDS put into the load balancer concept. So definitely we are using headless. If if my pod is only one, not required to use headless service, right? What we can use? Service I can use. The reason if pod will ask to service, it will send directly one target is there. No problem. Read, write only same target. So we can use cluster IP at that time, but multiple targets are there. Definitely we have to define DB. We should not maintain multiple masters. Data inconsistency will face like RDS concept we discussed. So in this case, my end created 2 services, right? I have created wanted 2 services for this web 0, web 1. First one is what? Headless service. And second one is what? Normal service. 2 services I have created for this pod, right? Okay, now this pod will connect headless service. What would be the result for this pod? This pod connect through normal service. What would be the result from the target? And we can see now. Okay. So I have already logged in this pod, right? Try to ping this pod by using curl or NS lookup. We'll see through NS lookup. Okay. So NS lookup. Okay. NS lookup, not this one. DNS test this is right. NS lookup is not there in this pod. NS lookup pod is different. I have login curl pod where curl is working. So you can run. Okay. Let me try NS lookup. Will it work or not? We'll see. Just I'm giving only. Okay. Let me try NS lookup. My service name is what? Let's go to the second tab. Nginx normal. Service name. Okay. So server can't find Nginx normal. Okay. Okay. See here. Whenever I hit NS lookup Nginx normal service, it is redirecting to where? 10, 220, 200. Directly redirecting into which service? Normal service only. But this service I'm unable to see my targets, right? What is my target actually? My target pods I should see. This service running on different pods, right? If I access service means this request is redirecting into these pods. I mean, see, if I hit from here NS lookup, I just hit normal service, right? If I hit normal service, I'm able to see cluster IP only. What is the meaning? Maybe cluster IP will send traffic any one of the pod now. I'm unable to see target means what? So I can see only my cluster IP as a target means it will send traffic here or here. Here targets I'm unable to see. In that case, your request will go to directly only cluster IP. Then cluster IP will decide to which pod I can send the traffic. But it is not like that, right? Definitely it should go my target. So, but I'm unable to see my target means definitely this cluster IP will send like a load balancer concept, any one of the pod. Okay, and we can see again NS lookup. Now Nginx headless. What is the chain here and there? Okay. See, the first result is target is what? 10, 100, 220, 200. The second result target is what? Is it 10, 100, 200, 100? It is not redirecting to service, right? If it is redirecting to service, I can see my service IP. It got stuck. Understand the scenario here? So I'm able to see some IPs, right? What is this IPs? Pod IPs, target pod IPs. My end, how many pods are running? So I can see my target directly addresses here. Target pods. Understand here? If you use headless service, your request directly go to target pods only, not for service. So now you can choose. For example, my request should go this pod means I can call this pod in my application. Understand? In my application pod, I can give this address directly to communicate direct address. For write, go for this pod. For read, go for this pod. So I need to define first which one is the master, which one is the read. I need to define here. Understand? But here, there is no option to define. You should define cluster IP only. It will send redirect any one of the pod. This is not used. Since stateful set, different pods are there. I mean, multiple pods are there. For example, in your target, only one pod is there. Definitely this IP is redirecting, cluster IP is redirecting to target IP. Whether it is read, either it is write, no problem. That's what DB, if you deploy through if you deploy MySQL in a database through deployment, that should be only one replica. If you deploy DB, I mean stateful application, if you can deploy multiple replicas, in that case, definitely you should use stateful set. If you use deployment, no use. The reason name will change. Sir, what is the interlink name and IP? I will show you here. So, yeah, if my pod will delete, same IP will come, different IP will come. Different IP will come. Is this clear now? So definitely I shouldn't call IP in my application. Again, if delete means, again I need to configure, right? But name will come same, right? Yeah, okay. Just park aside. Now I'm going to curl the request. I'm going to curl the request. Curl the service. If I run the curl the service is redirecting to respect to pod, right? Let's go to curl the service. My service is none. That is headless. No, I will run normal first. I'm going to run curl normal. Hello from container web 0. Container inside I have added some content, right? Like user data, there is a concept here. We can add the content also inside the pod. Otherwise, you can create a pod, you can log in the pod, you can add any content. That one also no problem. Here concept is headless. Now I'm getting response from where, guys? Now my service is redirecting 0 and 1, right? It work like a what? Load balancer. So there is no concept here, only send to 0. Sometimes 0, sometimes 1. So this is not recommended. If you hit the service is redirecting to 1 or 0. In that case, definitely If you enable this cluster IP for the stateful application, the service is redirecting to some write operations into one pod, some write operations into one pod, some read operations into one pod. Like that means data inconsistency. It will come like RDS, what we discuss. Okay, now I'm going to hit directly in headless service. We can see the difference. Curl, web 1, web 1, web 1, web 1. Now you tell me, this one also redirecting into web 0, web 1. Why? This is service redirecting into web 1, web 0. So we can control here. We can add our pod name before, so that always it's sent to that pod only. I mean curl web 0, 0, no? Web 0, right? Now if you run, always request will go to where? So in your application, you have to mention like this: write operations, web 0. Your application redirect request always write operations into web 0 only. Now you can understand here, always it will go to web 0, not web 1. See, any times you can wish. Same thing if you give web 1 here, the request will go to always web 1. Understand now? In your application, we have to define here like this way for stateful set applications. So you need to understand one thing. Your pod may deleted, for example. Is there an impact? Same name pod name will create, right? So this is the concept. Your pod name will delete, na? Same pod name will create. So same pod name means no need to change your application, right? Inside application, no need to change anything. The reason pod will come same name. But data, how? From the volumes. Understand the concept? Yeah. This is the concept of headless. So we shouldn't use IPs at all. So many websites are saying we can use IP here. If you use IP now, if you delete pod, definitely different IP will come. Application will not send to database again. So this is the actual process. We should use the pod name. Pod name always fixed in stateful set. That's what we are using in the stateless application to communicate stateful application through name only. This is called DNS name configurations. Is that clear now? Yeah. Is that clear? Online, both offline team? So I will plan one project stateful set also. It will take some time. The read and write we need to enable. It'll little complicate. So better first you should complete deployments and all. If you are okay with all the projects, then slowly we can start stateful set project also. Okay. If I show here, may you confuse all the things. Better first you should strong in deployment end, but theoretically or practically practice this session and write in your books in your language. The reason headless always you forget. Me also. Better to write in your language what is headless. And so stateful set always create same IP address along with the pod name when it's recreate, right? Are you sure? Okay, let me try. kubectl get pods. Okay, web 0, web 1. kubectl describe pod web 0. 0 or 1, this one, 0. What is the IP of my web 0? 192, 168, 35, 167, right? Remember this. Delete pod web 0, right? Delete la kubectl get pods. So web 0 is initializing mode. Now you can go to describe pod web 0. Okay. Okay, it will take some time to create. So if same IP will come, we should use the IP also, right? Is that correct? But anyway, guys, Nowhere we can use the IP directly. That is not at all good practice. Okay. Again, I deleted. Oh my God. Apply -f. Is that the same application? Let's go to LS. Nginx SFS. Okay. kubectl apply -f Nginx. One is configure, remaining two is unchanged. Service is unchanged. One more pod already running, that is unchanged. New pod is configure. Is that clear? So if I use deployment, no need to worry about that. Why? Even deployment, if you use stateful applications, replicas, again, I need to worry. If you use stateful set application through deployment, again, I need to worry, right? Why? Names will come different. So definitely your stateless application target will change, right? Name will be changed means again, you need to change. Changing the name, there is no big pen we can change, but is redirecting into different pods, write operations, one pod, read operation, one. If it is sent like this, definitely finally, we don't have any data. Data will be there, but inconsistency we can see. Next time, if anyone access, it may be redirecting to, there is no data pod. At that time, no details will found for the user. Why? Multiple masters, multiple different data. My Web0 pod is running, right? kubectl. Pod change or not? Change, right? Same pod or change? IP change, right? Same IP. గుర్తులేదా? Same IP. Okay. Same IP also we didn't use this. Understand? Same IP, same name came, but also we shouldn't use this concept. Okay. 167. Okay. I didn't check till now anyway, but concept is clear, but I didn't check before to delete and recheck. Anyway, we can easily prove like that. Okay. Let's go to my, here I can see, right? Next. 192, 168, 35, 167, right? Same IP is created, right? So you can use IP also, but not recommended. Is that clear? Yeah. So in this case, same IP means it's a static IP. Okay. So this is intro question, guys. Okay. Again. Stateful application, the background IP will dynamic or static. Now you can say static or dynamic. That's what you are getting same name. Is it clear now? Yeah. Clear? So finally, the communication, how to write. So we should write like this address. So actually this is not recommended. So how to write in the final, yeah, this one. To access stateless to stateful communication through headless service, pod name, default, pod, cluster, local. This is common always. Local means local cluster, it will work. Namespace is different namespace. We should use the namespace also. This is default, right? Your deployment is there in different namespace. This will not communicate. This is also entry question. Your stateless application is running different namespace. Your DB is running in different namespace. In this case, how your pod will communicate? Through headless services, I can understand. But in the this block, I need to change in place of default. I should use the namespace, target namespace. So this is the final one, stateful applications. we should use like this to connect inside the stateless. Pod name default dot pod dot cluster dot local. If it is a deployment, this is stateful application, right? If it is a deployment, target is deployment, how? Directly giving a service name. Understand? Deployment, we can give directly service name. Why deployment only one pod is there? If you can create through deployment for DB stateless application, stateful applications, deployment should be one only, not two. You can go through deployment also, but it should be one, not two. If it is one, you can give directly cluster IP service. If cluster IP service none means it is a stateless. Sorry, stateful. The stateful, that two replicas will be there. Clear? Write in your books in your language after go to your home. This is very important concept. You know, this concept is very, very difficult to understand from the YouTubes and net and all. The reason the concepts are, they are giving different concepts, different false statements. Write in your book, the reason to understand this concept, definitely very, very difficult. With my experience, I'm saying, I spend my time to understand this headless. My head will pass sometimes. Seriously saying that I have gone through so many documents for the headless service. So to understand this concept, for me took a time 1 year. Now you can easily understand, right? I have done so many things to understand this concept. Now I'm very clear. Same now means not now, 3 years back. Okay, someone raised the hand. You can ask the question here. So this is it's the same, yeah. This is the concepts of Kubernetes. Okay. So what is the secret of your? Give me some preparation suggestions. There is no any secret of success. I came from non-IT background only. Yeah, sometimes I struggle some problems. So to overcome that, definitely I will be in a good position, right? I did hard work, but I haven't did 8 years, 8 hours, 9 hours. I did only 3 hours, 4 hours only. Probes concept, yeah, one pending that for your work. Probes, your work. Tomorrow Route 53. Tomorrow I will show you project, right? In that case, I will show you how to configure the Route 53. Drink boost and hard work. Yeah. My son also, every day sitting my side and he's learning that what is Docker. He's asking every time. He's taking my laptop and doing some architectures here also. Docker and something he's writing. And yesterday he asked, Dad, when you will give me training on Kubernetes? He asked, what is the Kubernetes? I don't know that. You're always preparing Kubernetes, right? I'm seeing many times. That's what he's saying. That. But yeah, when his time, there is no DevOps at that time. So waste. Is that clear? Yeah. So tomorrow is the last class, guys. So I will show you the one project. You can easily understand how to do the multiple projects, even though I have done 4 projects documents. Okay. The documents you can easily understand since you have a knowledge in 4 months, right? Even fresher also can understand easily, can prepare the project with the document. But they can follow the steps. They don't know, understand the concept, but you can understand the concept since we have a 4 months of experience. Okay. That's all for today. Thank you so much, guys. Bye-bye. I forget time.